There are few systems in the Empire that inspire the myriad of emotions that Garron does. Even after 200 years, the effects of the events on Garron 2 have barely abated in the public consciousness. To many, the system continues to be a chilling warning about the horrors that unchecked human greed can unleash on the universe. To others, it is the lightning rod that spurred humanity to finally rise up and free itself from the shackles of oppression. Discovered in 2784 by Imperial Pathfinders, the Garron system was significant from the start. While performing their initial assessment of the system, scientists and researchers focused on the only planet situated within the narrow green band of the G-type dwarf star. They were thrilled to discover developing life on Garron 2. Remarkably, with all the systems that humanity had discovered to this point, explorers had never before stumbled across a non-spacefaring sapient species, only ruins of long-past civilizations and animals. So the government had never been faced with the prospect of how to deal with a burgeoning, intelligent civilization. The Imperator, Linton Messer XI, paraded vids of the aliens all across the Empire and boasted about humanity uplifting the species. "We will be gods" was the cornerstone of his address to the public in 2785. A team of the Empire's greatest scientific minds were assembled under the guidance of famed anthropologist and linguist Dr. Michael Shaherlis, and assigned to an orbital platform above Garron 2. Their mission was to not only study the species below, but devise a method of contacting them and subsequently uplift them. Over the next 5 years, Shaherlis and the team worked tirelessly to observe the creatures below and decrypt their language, all while keeping their presence hidden from the unsuspecting culture. However, their Imperator grew bored with the prospect of uplifting Garron 2, particularly when he was presented with the initial planetary assessment that detailed Garron 2's considerable natural resources. The prospect of assimilating the species was now overshadowed by the possibility of massive financial gain. The Imperator immediately began courting terraforming companies and mining concerns to spec out potential bids for processing the planet. Planetary geoengineers moved into the observation station to perform more thorough surveys of the planet. Shaherlis quickly realised what was happening and implored Messer to reconsider. He got his answer when Ellis Natemi, Linton Messer's cousin and chief advisor, broke the planetary quarantine to personally lead a tour down to the planet's surface. There, in full view of the alien species, he showcased the landscape for company reps in the hopes of sparking a bidding war. Shaherlis, horrified at having to witness this innocent species effectively being invaded, decided to take a stand and let the public know what Messer was up to. Unfortunately, Shaherlis was betrayed by a close associate who was terrified that the Imperator's wrath would extend to the entire team. Michael Shaherlis was deemed an enemy of the Empire and quickly remanded to Orville Prison on Charon 3 without trial. With Shaherlis out of the way and the rest of the scientific team terrified into submission, Natemi sold mining rights to the highest bidder, and the terraforming machines moved into place to convert the atmosphere. Whether the Imperator had forgotten about his earlier boasts to the public about uplifting Garron 2, or considered the populace to be so completely subjugated that his reversal would go unnoticed, is still being debated among historians. However, all of those vids that he showcased depicting the creatures of Garron 2 firmly implanted the primitive civilization in the public's consciousness. So once the underground activist movement known as the Tide released footage of the devastation caused by terraforming an inhabited planet, the public remembered. What came next, no one could have anticipated. In the aftermath of the revolution, humanity was faced with a myriad of uncertainties. The newly installed Imperator Eren Toy was busy introducing legislation that would prevent future despots from seizing power while also ferreting out the remaining forces loyal to the Messers, but the public's attention was firmly on the loss of Garron 2. The Senate enacted the Fair Chance Act and quickly placed the recently discovered Osiris system under its protection, but there was considerably more debate over what to do with Garron 2. The Senate decided to build a team to restore Garron 2 to its original form. They consulted the initial planetary analysis and even managed to bring back some of the original members of Shaherlis's team to assist. The government even attempted to bring Dr. Shahalis back onto the project after freeing him and the thousands of other political prisoners from the prisons on Sharon 3, but the doctor refused. Years of abuse during his incarceration prevented him from returning to the project. Over the years, advanced research companies like Rayari Inc. volunteered their cutting-edge technology to help rebuild Garron 2 and its biosphere. Imperator Toy ultimately placed Garron 2 under the Fair Chance Act, guaranteeing that it would be protected from this point onward. The ramifications of the actions taken in this system reverberated through the decades. It was this incident that Imperator Salehi would cite, almost 100 years later, as the inspiration for the creation of the Synthworld project. To this day, Garron remains as a nexus for the scientific community. Though it has no settled planets, the system sees a healthy amount of traffic and trade from its connections to Idris and Banshee. Surprisingly though, Garron generates most of its revenue from the jump point to Bacchus. The system sees millions of travellers every year who are eager to visit the Banu system and conversely, acts as one of the main conduits into the UEE for Banu. Formed very close to the system's star, Garron 1's proximity has transformed its surface into a sea of lava. The rocky planet of Garron 2 was home to an amazingly diverse biosphere with an equally varied array of lifeforms until the messes essentially eliminated the indigenous life by replacing the atmosphere. Since then, terraforming companies and scientists have worked to restore the planet to its former self, and although they have not been able to recreate any of the creatures, they've made great strides in repopulating much of the botanical life, in large part thanks to the hundreds of detailed scans Shahalis and his team recorded. Despite not having any inhabitants, this planet has been placed under the Fair Chance Act. The original observation station constructed for Dr. Shahalis and his team to design a method to uplift the denizens of Garron 2. O.B. Heller has since served as an operations hub for scientific teams attempting to rebuild Garron 2's original atmosphere and as a museum of the history of terraforming and the Fair Chance Act. Garron 3 is a large super-Earth that formed on the inner edge of the system's frost line. After exhaustive studies, the planet was deemed devoid of life and cleared for mining to help fund efforts to restore Garron 2. Garron 4 is a large, rocky planet orbiting on the outer rim of the system. The UEE constructed a monument on the surface entitled the Sentinel as a sign of their commitment to protect the developing species in this and all other systems.
Let me set you a riddle. You have a fox, a chicken, and a sack of corn, and you have to transport them from one side of the river to the other using a rowing boat. You can only carry one of these with you back and or forth. You can't leave the chicken and the fox together. That's mad. Nor can the chicken be left with the grain, nor all three together without you. How do you do it? With nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Turn that bad boy on and just set your location to the other side of the river. Done. Not only do you have all your wares, but also you can get around regional content blocks, have your data encrypted for more security. It's easy to toggle on and off. It's non-invasive. It helps you with other riddles as well. If a sphinx is asking you, what goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? NordVPN! Get it now from the links below. Every month we have a giveaway for a ship, and for March we are giving away an Argo raft with persistent hangars, freight elevators, and hauling missions coming with Alpha 3.23. What better way to experience that type of gameplay than with your own hauler? All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of our videos made during the month. A single comment per video counts, so get involved with watching all my videos for more chances to win. There's more details in the description. Also, I won't ask you to contact me on Telegram or anything like that. This is my only YouTube account I will use to talk in my comments as well. Occasionally there are scammers about. I don't want people to get tricked. A massive thank you to everyone that supports the channel, be that liking videos, commenting on them, sharing them. There are also people that go the extra mile. These are amazing people that become Patreons or use the join button under my YouTube videos to become channel members. You'll occasionally get some exclusive content, Discord roles, and behind the scenes posts. It's those people with those memberships that allow us to make the daily Star Citizen content that we do. So please consider joining those awesome folks as well. Thank you for watching until the very end. It is genuinely appreciated, and I hope you have a great March.